Congrats. You can go be your fantasy. But that's when that's how fucked up America's been. We we're so pussified, you know. And I agree with the video I shared recently. The dude talks about how the left wing has gotten the culture war because honestly, you can't argue culture without somebody calling you a bigot, without somebody just throwing an insult at you these days. It's shitty. Why can't
you're
I?
talking about heritage, not
No,
culture.
I'm talking about culture
No,
because you
culture is how
can't.
you're grown
You
up,
can't.
and how you're raised, and whatnot. Culture is how you're raised. Heritage is your African American and whatnot. That's why I say it's not about race, it's about culture. Culture is how you're raised. Look at how you're raised. If everyone was raised like that to a degree, everything would be a lot better, wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, dude.
Exactly.
My childhood was not bad.
It could
It
have
was
been
not.
better, but I mean, if everyone had at least what you had, I'm pretty sure the world would be better. I didn't have the best, but I
But
mean,
you
if
see,
everyone had at least what I had.
but, but then, why do people have less of what I have? Why?
Because their parents don't give them equal opportunity. Because
Stigma,
because those kids are
dogma.
raised in a bad culture. Because if anything, those parents are holding themselves down because they think that their heritage is messing them up. I mean, just look at the
I
statistics.
don't know what that answer is, Bailey. I'm gonna have to come back to you on that
For
one. I
what?
really don't know why.
What's the question?
Why do we still have poverty? Why do we still have?
Because of the crime rate and stuff like that, and how fathers are leaving mothers to raise kids. It's just a fact. Sure, like
But
that.
why is it? Why? See,
Look
this
how
is why I can't get behind America.
See, I'm not just
I mean,
trying
it's not
to
that
pick all
America
the
isn't.
blacks, but I know right here I have the statistics right next to me for blacks. Just like so many, for example, just black kids are dropping out of high school. So many black kids are going into prison. All stuff like that. Just if that wasn't happening, poverty would go down. If people were getting their education to a high school level at the least, so they can help us fill out those crappy roles in society, that's what they want to do. We need
Well,
janitors
you see,
somewhere.
I mean, the world will always need a McDonald's employee. The
Exactly.
world will. I take that back. They're coming out with robots, but the world will always need shit employees.
And when we have white trash and stuff like that out there,
Well, that's again how you're raised. That's just
but at the same time, you just were talking about it just a second ago. Divide and conquer. They're dividing and conquering and making a race war and stuff. And at this point, they're basically giving people that are living ghetto food stamps and living off the government and all these public housing, spending $10 to live in a house a month and stuff. And it's just horrible, and they're allowing illegal immigrants into here, leeching off our titties and shit. Yeah, I know.
is that.
Shut up.
It make me mad. Um, are you still here? Hello?
Yeah. Why don't you look up that stuff I was telling you about earlier now?
About what?
The Sandy Hook stuff.
Stop.
Look it up, man. Come on. I know you wanna. What are you typing in?
Sandy Hook hoax.
I mean, I guess that's one way to put it. Why don't you just put in conspiracy theory? You find anything? What'd you find?
Well, according to veteranstoday.com, it talks about an article by Jim Fetzer saying there was an interesting article comparing Sandy Hook to the Boston bombing, published by A.J. McDonald, saying that the Boston bombing had everything that Sandy Hook didn't: video footage of the bombing, photos of the bombing, photos and videos of the wounded, and lots of blood. But the studies of the Boston bombing reveal the use of actors, fake blood, and staged sequence events. The claim that Sandy Hook's was a hoax, the thing is founded upon the fact that we have no video of the shooter, no photos of the shooter, no video or photos of the victims, and no blood. It seems to be that the lack of evidence is evidence of a hoax. Then the Boston bombing isn't a hoax. I've written on this subject before. It boils down to epilepsy or answering the question, how do we know anything? Um, that's a good question. How do we know?
Well, why can't they just simply answer questions like that for the American people? I haven't heard nothing about the Boston Marathon shooting or bombing. I mean, clearly we know who did it and whatnot. There's no way that was fake, was it? But what do you think about what it said right there? What, like, for someone that's never heard that Sandy Hook could be fake? You have to answer. Of course. InfoWars is always
I
the
don't,
first one.
I don't know, because I honestly haven't researched about it.
Well, that's what I mean. I want to hear your first opinion from hearing something weird like that.
It was the former head of Homeland Security, Governor Ridge, who published a book a couple of years ago admitting to the fact that they had issued fake terror alerts as a pretext to take American liberties and distract the public. And of course, even the New York Times has reported that most terror plots have been orchestrated and planned by the FBI as a pretext to rationalize and promote their expansion and existence. Now, that said, I have never seen a false flag, provocateur, staged event by a government come apart faster than it is right now. And that owes largely to the fact that the public knows what to look.
You find anything else?
I found that there's
What?
I really don't know. I really don't know. You know, people say 9/11 was a hoax too, but there was at least a trail of blood for that. There was 2 buildings at least dropped, as well as the Pentagon, an attack on the Pentagon.
Yeah, but there's a lot of
there's at
stuff
least
that doesn't make sense.
and even if it doesn't make sense, it still was an act of itself. You can't just. I mean, history is written by the victor, and um, history is ultimately altered depending on who you ask. But whether or not we can just say that these serious events, we have to take into consideration that maybe these events did happen. And if so, where would be some places to start?
What do you mean? To find out this stuff was
What
happening?
would be some what would be some stuff to ask? Like, um,
For 9/11?
yes, why would
Go
we
go
need
on
9/11?
YouTube.
Let's say
Go on YouTube and type in 9/11 Charlie Sheen. That's what
Charlie Sheen.
I know, right? He has this like really short video that it's all the main asking points of 9/11, and that's how I found out about that other building and researched it. It's on this stupid channel though, Infowars. Every time I see it, it's weird. It's run by this crazy dude that does like basically every conspiracy theory there is, and every blue moon, one of them actually seems like something. It's like what the fuck actually happened? You know, like Sandy Hook.
Then what would be the gain for faking such an incident?
What?
Well,
Wait, what? What would
what's
they
at stake
gain? What
besides
would they gain from such an incident like 9/11? Isn't it clear we went to Iraq or whatever, the Middle East?
for Sandy Hook?
From Sandy Hook, that's for gun control, if I'm correct. They want to take all our guns.
But wouldn't you think that it would actually advertise for less gun control? Because if these teachers were armed, would they not have the ability to defend themselves against such an attacker?
See, that's the argument. That's what we're arguing. That's why, like, you always hear Republicans and conservatives and all that, like, don't touch our guns, because, you know, if there's 20 guns against the one person with the gun, who's going to win? But at the same time, if you take all the guns away, like the other countries in the world, there's like no gun rates. But then again, look what
Yeah,
happens.
but you're
Like
still gonna have violent people.
exactly, that's the point. Even if someone has a knife or
That is,
something.
that's a tendency of the human race, violence. But you know what? You know what's depressing, actually?
What?
The fact that these countries still have crime. Just because you take the gun away from the violent person doesn't mean you take the violent person away from the gun.
Oh, of course.
Um, Basically, if a violent person is psychotic and violent, he's going to be psychotic. Like the Dark Knight Rises shooter. That the what's his face with the orange hair.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. If you had a gun
He
there,
was crazy. He pled crazy. So whether or not that's a loophole and there's just so many topics to really honestly ask about our system of government. If you can claim you're crazy, you can get out in a lesser sentence. But people who have marijuana charges have a longer sentence time than those of child
there's
molesters.
people that
You know,
will
our
be in
system
jail
is
for the rest of
pretty.
or prison for the rest of their life because of marijuana.
I mean, could maybe they had marijuana and something else, but that would make
No,
sense.
no,
But
like seriously, like just selling pounds and pounds and pounds of marijuana. Like I just saw something yesterday. Did you watch the video of Charlie Sheen? Just forget
I
it's
did
Charlie
not.
Sheen. Just forget that he said, "Eye of the Tiger." Oh shit. Hello? Because we're recording the video. No, really. You not find it?
I'm not currently researching it.
You bitch.
I don't know.
What are you looking up?
I don't really know, but that's like, what do we know? I mean, how do we know that any of this is real? You know, maybe. I mean, I don't know if you're real. I mean, I know that you're a physical object, right?
No, yeah.
Just as you know. Okay, before you get all creeped out and scared out, that's an honest to God question. How do we know that any of this is real? And this is why I really do not like this, but Rick and Morty actually displayed this very well.
So
You
what?
look genuinely concerned, and it's okay.
So
I
what?
mean, I mean,
What are we gonna do about it?
like that is a question. How is this any of this real?
What are we gonna do about it?
Well, how about this? The Matrix. The Matrix, for example.
What are we gonna do about it?
If this is what I'm talking about,
We're not gonna do
how do
nothing.
we know if any of this is real?
We ain't gonna do nothing about it.
We don't. We don't. We only know what our senses, our five senses, our five general senses. We know that the world, we can touch, we can see, we can smell, we can taste, we can hear. But if we were born blind, deaf, senseless, if we were born senseless, would we even still know that we were alive or dead?
Well, clearly you would know something's going on. Oh my god. You wouldn't know words. Huh.
You wouldn't know anything. You wouldn't know society.
Is
You
that
wouldn't know. And
what is that what
that
a
goes back to ignorance is bliss.
is that what a vegetable's like?
Technically, vegetables can feel, so no, vegetables know something's happening.
I mean a real vegetable.
No, because to be a vegetable, you have to have had, you would have had senses, at
A
least,
real vegetable.
cognitive
A
function.
real one. You're
Yeah,
talking
you're talking about a person, I understand.
I'm talking about the vegetable, like the plant.
And I said that it would still know because it's a living organism. It's,
So it's a plant.
it, it, it doesn't see, it doesn't, we know that it does hear because it reacts to vocal, maybe not vocal, but it reacts to sound waves within the air.
Okay, so a plant can feel more than this person. Okay. So at least a plant knows they're alive and this person doesn't. There's your answer, Matt.
Well, that's just theory. I don't know. I'm not a fucking plant.
It's just a
But
plant theory. Dun, 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 dun.
I mean, that's another theory. How do we know if anything is real? I mean, how do I know if I was born without these senses? Would I know what I still know about today's society? Would I know that fucking Sandy Hook could be fake? Would I know that Brexit is a thing? Would I know? No. The answer is no.
Once again,
What
it
you
doesn't
do not
matter.
know, what you do not know will never come across your mind.
Well, yeah,
Exactly.
it's like being a kid.
How can you know if you don't?
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what being a kid's like. Are you on my live stream?
How do you
Someone's
know?
watching.
I'm just saying, this is just
Are
a
you on my
practical.
live stream?
I am not.
Oh, if someone's watching, I wish they would comment.
You also have 3 subscribers now.
Yeah, I know, but one's me from my other channel, and one's you, so I only have one real subscriber. And they've been here for like 2 months. So you are the only one watching, of course.
No, actually, I just joined and it said one was watching.
Yay.
But needless to say, but how do we know though if life is real? I mean, let's. What if this was just one big game or something? What if this was just a figment of our imaginations? What if this is just us going through our memories before we're dying, and at the end of our road, we realize that this was just one big ass look back onto life? You know, we don't know exactly
It doesn't
what is
matter.
going on.
It doesn't matter. It ain't gonna
It
affect.
does matter.
It ain't gonna
It
affect
does
you.
matter. Every action
You're
has
never gonna figure it out.
everything. Everything you do directly and indirectly affect everything.
I know
The butterfly
it's
effect,
the
for
butterfly
example.
effect. What do you expect? Yeah, of course.
If you just not existing and not living there, would there be somebody else? Probably. You see what I'm saying? God, nature and science are just stupid. You know? Um, I think that's why I like to play video games. It's because this hard thinking, it's not that it's hard to deal with and come to the circumstantial, but it's just, it's nice to not live in this world. And I think that's why people escape to video games, to movies, to entertainment. I think that's why we have an entertainment industry.
That's what happens when you've taken the red pill. Your video games are your only blue pill.
Exactly. You know, and even if any of this was not real, like, is chicken even real? Like, I'm not even trying to be like a tripped out acid user. Like, I'm just some legitimate questioning. Like, is chicken real? Is a TV monitor that's in front of me real? Because if life is just chemicals, right, and the formation of atoms in an alkaline environment, then would we really know? Like,
No, so shut up.
exactly, it's hard. And I'm sorry I keep repeating myself. I'm just caught up with this whole. That's a question about life. Like, fuck.
There is no question.
What if this live stream wasn't? I mean, right now, think about it. Think about how hard it is to get a fucking live stream up, and people do it with ease. I mean, seriously, you record me, put it on the internet. It basically travels through a system of computers to then be put on a central database computer, to which it gets broadcasted to anyone logged in on a single web address.
So what? Just
E.g.,
because you don't understand it don't mean it's some almighty thing.
exactly, but it's complex, is what I'm saying. Life is just complex,
Okay.
and it's unnecessarily complex at times. But we take things for granted, though, do we not? We take our phone right now, this video call that I'm in with you. I take it for granted. I mean,
I look more at the fact that people bitch like walking half a mile to school when pioneers had to walk like 10 miles a day. Carrying
yeah,
all their
and they
the
honestly, it's
house.
homesteading. But what I'm saying is, like, simple things in life aren't so simple, and that's garbage because
You're garbage.
it's just garbage.
You're garbage.
Nah, life is. I mean, I guess that's why people get all sad and depressed.
When you
Should they
get
get
the
sad and depressed?
when you get depressed, it's because you're not in the right environment, and that's your body telling you you need to leave that space. I'm pretty sure that's what depression is.
But see, we like to think of depression as an emotional state,
It's a
a state of
reflex.
mind.
It's like a natural reflex, I guess, like your body's way of reacting to what, like, this is bad.
So, do you think the most poverty-stricken people, do they cope with their depression, or do they let their depression turn them into a transformation into something better.
Do all poverty people have depression? Not. Are we talking about the people that choose to be in that situation, or the people that fell into?
We're talking about the people who are literal rags to riches. Do you think that they use depression as a means of getting big? Do you
No.
think depression is actually helpful?
No.
I mean, I would think to an extent depression's okay and it's a natural function of humanity, but there's some people who just sit and wallow.
Because they're stupid and don't have motivation.
Yeah, maybe there's just they're not motivated, but they like the attention. There's just so many factors in with people
Gauge.
who have chronic depression, and it's stupid. It's garbage. It's like if you're sad, do something that makes you happy. And it's not that you can't. It's not when you're depressed that even the happiest things doesn't seem happy anymore. It's really just a determination of whether or not your emotional chemistry, whether you choose to feel that way, because you could either feel salty if somebody says, "Hey, you look dumb," or you can just be like, "Whatever, you're a hater." You know,
Whatever.
it's not exactly ignoring it, but it's dealing with it in a manner of it's just dealing with it.
Fucking hater. Dude, this dude's still watching. Nope, I have 0 watchers. You better subscribe. Hey,
Man, 5 a.m. conversation.
he's still watching. Subscribe.
Well,
Subscribe. Subscribe, random person. Subscribe. Oh, man, I'm tired. Come on, Matt. You were talking your ass off before you found out I was recording.
I'm sorry, I'm a little bit tired. It's like 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time right now, and I'm just kind of zoning out.
Ready to go to bed?
Yeah, I'm feeling it.